Okay, come on, don't hang me in the ass today. Wow. It is really warm out here today. Is that dang thing on? Yeah. I may put tape over that little red light. I went to Walmart yesterday. My once a month big trip, with my mom, and she most people, when they see the red light or they know they're on camera, they just freeze, and it's the most fun to catch people. Every time I go there without a camera, it's like people do such natural, just crazy stuff that it's awesome. I'm like, I wish I had a camera, but anyway, I thought I'd talk a little bit more about depression. I know it's a huge problem in society, and have I had it, and it's really typical for people. I need to move up in the shade. It's really typical for people who have long-standing illnesses like I do to fall into depression, and especially when they give you some of the medications that they give you, any central nervous system depressant, CNS drug will promote depression. But for me it was a thing of, I've been hospitalized. I've hospitalized myself. I think it's 33 times total. It was so severe, and a lot of those too were with the neurological disorder I have. Doctors do a thing called warehousing nowadays, where they'll tell you, well, we think we can help you, and we want to try this kind of certain type of drug, and with your history, you need to be under supervision to do that, and you can't really stay in the regular hospital because your insurance doesn't cover it. But if you check into the psych unit, we can keep you there almost indefinitely and monitor you and adjust dosages. And so that went on a lot with me, and I've when my career of addiction to morphine because of this disorder went on, I've been involuntarily committed by the cops because I was just doing something crazy. Like, I decided one time to make a radar array on top of my house, a receiving I'm into electronics, and it was a great idea, still is, but at 3 in the morning, no, they thought I should, and I was completely wiped out on meds. They thought I should like 2 or 3 times that happened. So anyway, depression, for me, a lot of people will go, well, I'm, they think it's sadness, and they think it's this or that and the other. But with clinical depression, what happened to me was I became so, it's not sadness at all. I just became extremely tired all the time. Like, it just happened all at once, really. Although I realize it probably happened in slow gradations, slow steps. But 2 things: I became really, really tired, and then really confused. And we're talking to the point of when it was so bad, and some of it was side effects of medications. But and now I realize a lot. I haven't taken a single pill in, I think it's 3 years now. But tiredness and confusion, and we're talking a sense of confusion so deep that I have spent sometimes all day standing, staring at a corner because I couldn't make a decision That's another thing. To get out, or I just couldn't understand how to get out of a corner, you know. And it's a severe problem that I know happens in society. And I've tried every medication there is. Do I believe in them? No. I mean, no. I gave it the good college try over and over and over again. And even the drug studies on those show that placebos are more effective than these antidepressant pills they have for treating depression. Boy, that trip yesterday to Walmart, I'm in such bad health. It just wore me out. I didn't realize how, my entire left arm is numb permanently now, and like over my chest, it's very heavy all the time, and I was just completely winded and exhausted with a very mild walk around Walmart, With the disorder that I have, it causes severe pain, and you can't see it at all. So, it's hard for people. You probably look at this vlog and think, well, he's okay. He's just kind of crazy or eclectic or messed up in this way. But no, I'm really far from okay. And it's really typical for people who have this to, 9 out of 10 kill themselves in the first 5 years. They call it the suicide disease. I've lasted 15, and I don't know how. But it's been a kind of a slow, steady, downward slide, which, it resulted in me pretty much having to give up everything that I had loved and worked for, and by force of this disease, and sort of, up until 6 months ago, I didn't get out of bed anymore. And there were a few years before that where I was just, drinking myself to death, and to kill the pain so I could sleep, But yeah, up until I started doing these videos and stuff, I just decided, I'm just in so much pain, and it's been going on for so many years. I'm tired. I can't fight anymore, And you know what? I don't know how or why this helped. It's one thing. I was laying in bed in this fucking RV in the middle of nowhere, just in this dead-end place, which is hard enough for somebody who, had the successes I had. And I was laying there, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, there's a feeling of like how unfair, how raped has my life been by this thing. But I don't know how, I do know kind of how, but and then I started thinking, wait a minute, what if I just sort of pretend everybody has this pain and everybody has to deal with this? And I don't know, it was like a light bulb went off, and suddenly things didn't seem, it just seemed different, And a lot of it's been about acceptance. This is what I get. This is what happens. We're all going to end up as dust in a box and be hugely degraded and humiliated on the way down if we're lucky to live that long. Cheerful, huh? Smoking really helps with the neuralgia. I don't smoke almost constantly, which is causing all these cardiovascular problems. I can barely move my left arm anymore. It's so numb, it's shaky, weak. One thing that happened to me was in my professional life. I can say a lot of things on this vlog. First off, that I would never say in my professional or regular life. I had to, which is why it's kind of great. I had to sort of meter myself my entire life, and whether it was in my business and constantly, this little magazine or that newspaper, this thing, public little interview or blurb, and I always had to say, yeah, things are great, everything's looking up, it's awesome, it's, just better and better. I could never be honest, and that was pretty much the case, but there's always a negative side to everything too, things that are hard to deal with. But um, what happened was my family was really my family of origin. Now we're getting into program kind of shit. Um, it was so toxic, I just totally turned my back on and divorced those people for nearly 30 years. Had almost no contact, nothing to do with them. So, I left as kind of like a young kid who liked to smoke pot, drink beer, and play music. That's how they knew me. Then I became, an educated, successful guy in the music business, and wildly successful in some areas, really just because of my education in computers, and that became, all recording studios are now computer based, and I was one of the first people to be doing that, and the demand was through the roof, and stuff like that. But I lost touch with them, so I left this kind of beer drinking, pot smoking, partying kid who played music, and which seemed like a ludicrous idea when you come from the country that you're going to make money at music. But when I went to LA, it was like, well, of course, you get paid ridiculous amounts of money to record people and produce stuff. It's a no-brainer. And anyway, what had happened was my sister stopped by here yesterday with her kids and stuff, and I had lost touch with these people, so it reminded me, even my mom, they don't really know me, they have, and I really now realize, because they've never been around anyone, famous or success or anything as I have, in LA. It sort of seems like tall tales. I had to stop talking about, because it always seems like, I could tell that glazed look in their eyes. And it does seem. I grew up in southwest Missouri in a bumfuck little town. It's like, it just seems like impossible you're ever going to meet anybody famous or work with them, much less. So there's that factor. But one of the problems with sort of getting people to understand and getting any kind of help, which there isn't any for this disease I have, is that they haven't been able to see how far I'd fallen. They just thought, well, this guy just went out to LA, kicked around, fucked around for 30 years, drank, smoked, partied, and now it's all coming to a head. Anybody who knew me, and one woman did find me at the beach in Santa Monica and living in this kind of condition, who knew me before, and she was like, oh my God, I cannot let this stand. What has happened? There has been a horrific something has happened to you. She understood, and she tried to help, God bless her, as much as she could. And over a period of months, I had to tell her, like, there's really nothing can be done, dude. I'm barely able to take care of myself. This disease I have, with the resulting depression, and with all kinds of then resulting alcoholism, and then and addicted to drugs that the doctors insist you take every day, and just and other factors, the horrible factors. But yeah, I mean, so they didn't go like, oh my God, we need to get you to the proper hospital or people or whatever, because what has happened to you. My family, they just went like, oh, you left a drug addict, not really drug addict, but you left a party animal. You did it for 30 years, and now you're a complete loser, So that's kind of the danger of turning your back on people. And it's kind of, I think, the only reason I came here to die and give my mom all of this valuable stuff I have, which I think she would sell at a yard sale for pennies, She doesn't even understand what it is. But that's kind of the danger of losing touch with people. It's like they had no context to go on. They just figured, well, you get what you get. So they don't really understand or know. It's like, yes, this is an epic fall. It's a fall of biblical proportions. A guy who used to run several multi-million-dollar companies, now in this circumstance. But I expected my sister And this is a good circumstance. When I became unable to take care of myself anymore due to illness and illness, I at least took my last like 50 grand and bought an RV and bought all kinds of stuff to sort of go like, wait a minute, if this trend continues, you're not going to be able to work anymore, and you'll be standing on the street with your dick in your hands, alone, with no support from anybody. And you better get something where you can crawl up in and sleep, which I need to do a lot. But yeah, my sister came by here, my littlest sister, yesterday, and it's like, I kind of expected. I've been sending them emails. I've been sending them emails with links to my latest videos and stuff, and I kind of expected her to, I don't know why, because she's not into music, but sort of understand and go, oh my God, the way that you did this song and this song, you totally took something epic and made it more epic and re-envisioned it. How did you do? Oh my God, that's incredible what you did. I expected her to kind of understand, and not everything I've done has been incredible, believe me. But some of them have come out stunning, in their detail, vision, and clarity, and quality, the overall quality. And especially when you consider this circumstance. But, it's like people are where they're at. Their heads are where their heads are at. I don't even think I figured she would say, oh my God, especially the last few, but the last one especially, it's like, that's epic. How did you even... No interest. In fact, I don't even think any of them have even watched any of my videos. As I said in another video, people would rather be butt-fucked by bands of roving street toughs breaking into their home than to bother to set up a YouTube account, watch your video, and hit the fucking like button. It's so meaningless to them. But the people who do get music, I get letters from strangers every day. Oh my God, incredible, amazing, powerful, unique. Even on this latest song of Trent's that I did, it's I knew when I did it what I was doing, and I intended it to be that way. But I thought, well, it's really good, but whatever. Then watching it a few times over a few days here and there, and people posting far better than the original, which is a bold statement for even me. I was like, nah, I don't think so at first. Now I'm looking at it going, this is actually better than the original. And that's bold, Getting anyone to realize that is another, and it's not arrogance and ego, it's just talking. I make real disastrous stuff too sometimes, it doesn't turn out. But it's more of just, acknowledging like some things turn out great because of a lifetime of experience doing this. But yeah, I figured my sister would go, oh my God, so this is like the shrine, the RV where you did all this and deathly ill under these circumstances, and you recorded this incredible piece of music and did an incredible video all here. How did you even, how did you, I don't understand. This is too much. No, no. Thank God there's just complete strangers out there that see it and email me all the time, because it's the kind of thing where I think in time, and that's why I'm keeping these vlogs, and we're talking 100 years, everything is, or 1,000 years, everything is based on time. It's kind of like times like driving through in the summer in your car with hitting bugs with your window. Kind of like that's the hits you get. If you could greatly accelerate and go 1,000,000 miles an hour, let's say in 100 years, you would probably see, just from the sheer brunt of people doing cruising YouTube or whatever, millions of hits. And what my hope is some person, probably a computer, will decipher all of these and type it in, put it into a text document, and then understand the significance of it and call it to someone's attention, that like this is pretty incredible what this guy was able to do before his death, as he was dying. I guess because it boils down to you just, you don't want to be really resent people around. I do. And this isn't all like tooting my own horn or anything. I have done something, and it's hard for me to even acknowledge. But it's important to acknowledge things. I have done something that is absolutely incredible and stunning, and even the people who sort of follow this, and one guy who follows my music posted on a song I did this morning. He always posts incredible work, guys, and I'm like, with the 2 characters I play, sometimes 3, that always tells me right away the person really isn't paying much attention to what I'm doing, and so those people I really kind of don't acknowledge too much or mess with, because I realize they're sort of, they have their own motives. Man, quit fucking banging on shit. You'd think this guy's president of the fucking United States, the way he tries to run, and he's like a peon who works scrubbing toilets at a trailer park, and he thinks he's hot shit, I know it. People probably look at this and go, well, that arrogant, egotistical bastard, he thinks he's so self-important and shit. But I've had a chance to be a part of some stuff that, in fact, if you're watching this, probably not a day goes by that you don't hear a lot of things that I've mastered and worked on that went through my hands. 3 billion people have heard things that I've done in my mastering lab. And I've been a part of on other businesses and all kinds of stuff that were huge, that affect people's lives every day. So I kind of got a feel for that, and it's like, I thought, well, in my own life, let me try to do something all on my own here, rather than just lay down and die. That's vast, that's huge, that's amazing. And, I have done that, and I'm not finished yet. But, it's like that movie, The Edge, where he kills the bear, Anthony Hopkins, and he says, all my life I always wanted to do something remarkable. And the other guy, Alec Baldwin, chimes in, he goes, well, Charles, I think this qualifies. He killed a grizzly bear with some sticks, getting anyone to notice that you've done something remarkable, especially on YouTube or even in real life. My sister isn't even aware that I do music, I think. I thought yesterday, well, maybe, certainly if she even kept a shitty vlog, I'd look at it. Probably every post she did, I'd look at it. I understand what it is. It's a great way to pick up information, from other people. I prefer it, but no, she's not even aware. I don't even think she knows I'm a musician. I prefer the vlog because there's a little store near here, and it's the only guy I ever see, like maybe every few weeks. And when I went there the other night because my mom didn't show up to come, her once a month deal where I talked to her for an hour a month to go get groceries. And so I would go to the store and get like some Spam and crackers to just get by, And the guy behind the counter the other night started in on talking about, and I haven't watched, by the way, 6 months into this thing, and 6 months and 4 days now. 20-hour days, 24-hour days really, with naps. But I'm talking to the guy, and he's talking politics and stuff, and I haven't watched TV. Politics in a nutshell, look, all that stuff is bought and sold. If you think your vote counts, go on ahead, jerk yourself off, waste your time, because it is a waste of time. I've worked on the most powerful and most, highest level projects. When you understand who's running the show, which is big money, you're wasting your time with politics. This election has been bought and sold like every other already. So I don't waste my time, or I haven't taken a phone call. But I'm talking to the guy and he's talking politics. He goes on for 3 or 4 minutes, makes his point. And I said, well, yeah, allow me to retort. It's the same thing with my mom. One sentence in and they're cutting you off. You can't even express a point. And some people are actually really good at listening, but not many. But finding people who listen is surprising. And I've really worked hard on being a good listener and ingesting what the other person says and then coming up with an intelligent, hopefully, response. And, it became frustrating. I finally abandoned the conversation after about a minute because I was trying to explain some really simple concepts to him that were just brief, like 2 sentences. I couldn't finish a sentence before he'd butt back in again, and I just thought, dude, why am I wasting my time, Which a lot of the stuff on YouTube, the bulk people, it's so pathetic, the numbers, but yeah, I've kind of come to the conclusion it's like most of the time, most of the people who sort of, send me this or that, there's a real feeling, and especially with haters, I get that feeling like, why am I bothering? Why am I wasting my time? I'm not even going to respond. Of course, they want to be able to do everything you can do, and without working for it, of course, it's a no-brainer. It's going to happen here and there, and that's life, But yeah, I realize like most of the people on there just spamming me with videos of their tennis shoes from their fucking cell phone, acting like it's some work of art that you've got to see. And I can use footage like that. I watch them all the time, but it's like, I realize also most of them even aren't worth bothering with, With me, I really dig my privacy. And I really resent shit like that, like cars, like Bukowski said, angry at the sound of someone else's footsteps. But people are they can be so great and such scum, Yeah, but I try to be loving, kind, gentle, and understanding. It pushes your tolerance when the favor isn't returned. It's just annoying being around people and all the racket they make and the sort of arrogant swagger they have about shit, I don't know, but yeah, depression. All of these things, I'm trying to do these vlogs to show people who I really am, and I've been honest in them as, there's no need for me to make shit up because it's, the things that have happened have been just like beyond belief. So, it's, I guess it's my way of just trying to tell my story and communicate and, be understood at least somewhat. And that's all anybody on YouTube. I get pissy about shit, but that's all any of these people want. They just want to be understood, and it's so much nicer now that it's quiet. Rapid and dramatic degeneration. That would be probably not really the perfect word there. Degradation, downslide in health. A little stroll around Walmart just left me incapacitated for many hours. It's all about, accepting things and then realizing, well, I can fight this, or I shouldn't bother fighting this, it's happening. And deciding between which way to go on that and sticking with it, But overall, in the end, even if it's, the God grant me the serenity and I cannot change and courage, blah, blah, the overriding thing is, if you compress time completely, the span of your life together, and look at it flying by like thousands of lives, it always is the same. You're going to be smashed into an ugly little corner and die. And I think in accepting that and seeing it's like natural and beautiful and part of the thing, it's less of a struggle accepting everything. And, accepting things for what they are seems to be the key. And even if I have rose above, even if you rise up and fight, it's only for a brief time anyway. It's all time dependent equations. I'm as happy as I can be, I guess. I'm certain, actually, but yeah, anyway, real depression, it's not feeling sad, it's where you can't, you just, eventually you can't take care of yourself anymore, and for people around you to get that and understand that, that's another thing about it, is they don't, and that makes it even worse, because now you're sort of just this, thing that they don't know or understand and are sort of afraid of too. But yeah, I mean, I hadn't even talked about, I did one other vlog on depression, and the cure for that just seems to be forcing yourself to do things constantly, not taking any drugs or drinking, eating and sleeping right, just all the normal bullshit, the stuff your mom told you was good for you. Well, rapper ending. Yo, peace out, motherfuckers. I'm a musician.